There are many hot debate topics going around. Apple or Samsung? Jordan versus LeBron. Coke versus Pepsi. And now electric or petrol. Sales of EVs grew by 39% last year. And while that number only equates to about 5% of new car sales in total, that figure is forecast to balloon to a massive 28% of new global car sales by the time 2030 rolls around, and 58% by 2040. Let me know in the comments if you have made the jump to electric power and what car you chose. For this video, I've done some digging to see if you should ditch that old fossil burning car and get with the electric program, or whether the technology isn't quite there yet and petrol's still king. I take a look at both sides of the argument, for and against. Price. A major issue around EVs and their uptake is price. They cost too much. The cost of electric cars versus petrol cars is noticeably higher. For cars that have a petrol equivalent, this is as clear as night and day. A new Peugeot 208 costs $27,000. Its electric equivalent, $42,000. A mini hatchback starts at $23,500. A mini electric, $36,000. You get my drift. This difference makes EVs less attractive to anyone hoping to save a few bucks when purchasing a new car. Range and recharge. For those in the know, range refers to how far a car can travel on a single tank of petrol or a fully charged battery, in the case of an EV. Now, there's a bunch of EVs that can go a long way, but that's gonna cost you. The Tesla Model S has a range of 647 kilometers. But if we're playing this game, then I might as well mention the petrol-powered Land Cruiser Prado, which can cover 1,800 kilometers on a full tank. Looking across the board, EV cars don't go as far as their petrol equivalents. That electric Peugeot has a range of 275 kilometers. The petrol version can do more than double that. And once you're out of petrol, a quick stop to the gas station and you're on your way. Looking at EVs, it takes the mini electric mentioned earlier half an hour to go from 20% to 80% using a rapid charger. At this stage in time, there is still convenience to take into account here. Petrol stations are pretty much everywhere, meaning you're only likely to run out of fuel if you head off into the middle of nowhere. And although there's been an improvement in the number of public electric charging stations over the last few years, there's still a way to go. Environment. They are not as leafy green as you may think. The production of the lithium-ion batteries that electric vehicles use emits 1.5 times more CO2 than the production of internal combustion engines.
Wait, what?
And the power plants that create the electricity needed for EVs can also be big producers of CO2 emissions via the burning of fossil fuels. And where does the raw materials for making these batteries come from? Lithium, carbon, graphite, cobalt. The batteries can't be recycled. What's happening to these batteries at the end of their life cycle? Shoot them up to space? Now that we've been over some of the concerns and pain points as to why some people are hesitant in making the switch, let's look at the other side of the argument on the same points. Price. Now I know I just told you EVs are more expensive, but let me explain. People often look at the upfront cost of buying a new EV instead of looking at the total cost over ownership. They can actually work out cheaper than a petrol car. It's probably easier if I just give you an example. On average, petrol cars cost its owners $140 a month to run, compared to just $15 for EV cars. So the more you drive your EV, the cheaper it becomes. And we're not even mentioning the added congestion charges and tax you would pay, and servicing fees you get stuck with a petrol car. As time goes on, EVs will get cheaper and cheaper as technology evolves to the tipping point where it's more expensive to buy a combustion engine car. Range and recharge. Now, unless you're driving 400 kilometers per day, this really shouldn't be a problem. Most people living in medium to large sized cities don't even cover 35 kilometers in a day. Electric cars can do that with ease. It's important to look at how you actually use your car instead of the numbers on the brochure. And with most people plugging in and charging overnight, the longer recharge times aren't a factor. Environment. Yes, EVs may not be as green as walking or rollerblading, but they still are better. Combustion engines emit harmful gases into the environment and in the cities and towns where humans actually live. And yes, the power used to charge your car is still not as green as we'd like, But the trend is on the right track. Back in 2010, here in New Zealand, 12% of our power came from sustainable sources. Today, that figure is 40%. The next big thing they'll need to tackle is recyclable batteries. After that, it's game over on the environment argument. Having examined both advantages and disadvantages of petrol cars and electric cars, the answer to this question will ultimately come down to what you value the most as a driver. Happy to pay a bigger upfront cost for longer-term savings? Electric cars are for you. Want to get a substantially bigger driving range from your vehicle and enjoy the convenience of having petrol stations peppered around everywhere? A car with an internal combustion engine might be the ticket.